Hi guys, welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whichever place you're coming from. Nice to have you here. We'll have an, an introduction session about conversational AI, which I think is the most exciting next thing in everything that is on the digital sphere. And we'll be talking about text and voice bot writing and design. We have here with us three members of Coco Hub, Ran, Jason, and Miri. Hi.
Hi.
There's
And
actually
we'll
four of
get,
us here. Anna's here too, so I mean, she's technically on
yeah,
payroll.
but she's half a person.
More than a
Ooh,
person.
ow,
He's
ow.
way up
One,
there.
one and a
I'm gonna
half.
mute myself now. I'm gonna just go cry in the corner for a second.
Ouch, that hurts.
No, it doesn't. It's okay. We have good rapport, or we'll have good rapport. So what we'll be talking about today? What's our agenda? We'll present Coco Haben Versio, Versio Academy, and of course Jason. And we'll talk about conversational AI. What is it good for? And we'll give you some more insight on it, about it. Then we'll talk about points of similarity between UX design and conversational or conversation design, if there are any similarity points. We'll talk about localization, as I call it, the godmother of all activities in the digital world. And then we'll have some demos with Eran and Jason, and Miri, of course, one about bot writing in Coco Hub Studio. You'll meet the commuter, Alexa voice kill, and of course, my pal Anna, who's the coolest bot, I think, ever. And then we'll go over our brand new course on conversation design. And of course, we'll finish with some Q&As.
It turns out that some people just click on the Google Meet for some reason. I'm sending one of them here. So she was the only one there. So okay.
Oh,
I was telling.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Miri, talk to us about Coco Hub.
Okay, so we're Coco Hub and we are bringing chatbots to life. So it sounds very big. The very basic idea is that we give other people, hopefully you guys, the tools, resources, and knowledge to create your own chatbots. So we have the tools and the resources are our super platform. So it means that we have a platform where you can build your own conversations using their pre-made little conversations. And or if you want, you can build it from scratch with your own ideas and whatever you think of. And of course, we have the knowledge. All three of us are conversation designers. Jason has been doing this the longest and he's amazing at it. You'll see when you talk to Anna, it will blow your mind. It did mine. That's basically why I joined the company. So we'll give you all these things, so tools, knowledge, and resources during the course. And that's what we do during our everyday. We have the super platform. We have so many functions on it, and you'll see it later on during the demos, and you'll be able to ask things and see everything there is to know. Not everything, because there's a whole course for it. But Jason,
But yeah, real quick, just to the previous slide, one of the things that makes us unique and one of the things that we're proud of is that we're basically enabling everybody to create conversational experiences. I started off in 2015, and in 2015, you needed an entire development team and a crew to create a chatbot. And basically what we've done at Coco Hub is we said, okay, well, we don't need that. All you need is creativity, curiosity. We take away all the coding. We take away all the stuff that's complex and complicated and bring this back to its heart, which is storytelling. And that's kind of my passion, is storytelling. And I think chatbots at the heart of it are telling stories through virtual avatars. So let me tell you a bit about myself, and we can go to the next slide now. I've been at Cocoa Hub since 2015. Well, it wasn't Cocoa Hub, it was called In Person in 2015. But before that, I come from a background, I was a screenwriter and a filmmaker. I went to film school in the US, made some independent films, and I thought that that was my passion. I've always wanted to be a film director ever since I grew up. I wanted to be a film director and make movies until I discovered in 2015, quite by accident, conversation design. And what happened was it blew me away. I realized that this is a whole new art form. This is nothing, this encompasses within it theater and writing and filmmaking and screenwriting and therapy and UX writing and linguistics, and all these different fields come together into one. And you have a chance to really, really connect with users on a one-on-one basis. And it's an amazing thing. And I've become an evangelist for it because I love it so much. But I've been very lucky. When I started at In Person in 2015, they had just been accepted to a Disney accelerator. Disney had picked some tech companies that they wanted to create in 2015. And in 2015, conversational AI, it wasn't called conversational AI, it was just called chatbots or chatterbots back then. And they were really excited about giving, they had a new show with Miss Piggy called I think it was called Up Late with Miss Piggy or something. And they wanted to give Miss Piggy a way to communicate with fans one-on-one outside of the show on Facebook Messenger. So I was tasked very luckily with the creation of the Miss Piggy chatbot. And it was one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had in my life, because I grew up loving the Muppets, and I grew up with a lot of people who loved the Muppets. I'm in my 40s now, and people who grew up a little bit older than me loved Miss Piggy and the Muppets. And when I created this chatbot, I worked with Jim Lewis, who is her writer, who writes all of her books. And I saw the people that were talking to her and people that were on Facebook Messenger. And these were people that had adored her growing up. And this was the first time in their lives that they could actually have a conversation with Miss Piggy. And that's when I really, truly realized the power of this medium, because you are enabling people to transcend their passive experience of watching entertainment and bring that to them. And we're continuing that here at Cocoa Hub. We are the only studio in the world that lets you create digital avatars without any coding knowledge. And you see, I've worked on some interesting projects over the years. I'm very, very, very proud of all of these projects, actually. But the one that I'm the most proud of probably is Albert Einstein. And in 2017, I won my first Webby for creating the Albert Einstein chatbot. And it was an amazing experience because, much like with Miss Piggy, all of a sudden, hundreds of thousands of people had a chance to talk to Albert Einstein, but not about physics, not about the theory of relativity. Some people asked him about the theory of relativity, but people wanted to know about his personal life. They wanted to know about his wife, about his children, about things like that. And so I was able, through Albert Einstein, to speak to these people and tell them the story of Albert Einstein's life. And it was very emotional for me. I'm a huge fan of Albert Einstein, and I think that I would love to bring it back at some point and have more people talk to Albert Einstein. And currently I'm working on Anna, but we're going to get to Anna in a bit. So yeah, that's more or less who I am. And as you can tell, I love what I do. And I think you'll find that you'll love it too. So stick around. Okay, we can get there.
Thanks, Station. So Versio Academy, as you know, Cocoa Hub and Versio Academy recently joined forces. And that's our new adventure here in Versio. So basically, Versio Academy, I think it's the only school today in Israel that focuses only on localization. And our graduates, we already have 50 graduates, and soon 15 more will join them. They are involved in leading localization projects for companies like Google, Microsoft, eBay, Amazon, Airbnb, Skype, and many, many more. The reason I built Versio was because I felt there is lack of really talented localization experts who know all about it, who know what is localization, how to do it right. And to really master the field. So now we have a strong community of localization experts, as I said, partake in leading localization projects, and our courses include translation studies, translation review, subtitling, that's a new course that we started in 2021, digital writing, and of course now chatbot writing. So who am I? Who am I? So Edna, our marketing manager, has decided that I'm first and foremost an entrepreneur. So there you go. I founded Versio Translations some 30 years ago. It's my translation agency. And in 2019, I established Versio Academy. I'm a certified translator. I've been working in the industry for about 30 years. And about 16 years ago, when Google first came to Israel, I started to really be exposed to localization, but then they called it a technical translation. The notion of localization, internationalization, and globalization, and all those Asianim are pretty much from recent years. So I'm also the Hebrew lead linguist for Airbnb and the language specialist for Yandex. And since last year, I joined 2 committees of the Standard Institute of Israel, and we have basically we want to standardize everything related to right to left interfaces. So that's a big, that's great. Of course, I'm a lover of the Hebrew language, otherwise I wouldn't be in that profession. And I'm a constant seeker for the best next thing in localization and in the world of digital. So yeah, that's me. And thanks again for joining us. Eran, to you.
I know. So what is conversational AI, the thing that we're working with? So conversational AI, simply put, is the set of tools and technologies used to facilitate communication between a human and a machine in natural language, because we all know about like coding and developers and engineers, and we are not coders, we're not engineers, we're not developers. As I like to say, the last time I like coded something was in the age of 12 in like, we had a handcraft, we had like a lesson in school with traffic lights with, yeah, sorry, Miri. So I haven't coded forever, but now I can write chatbots because of Cocoa Hub and because of the no-code platform that we have. So the term of conversational AI itself is very fresh. It evolved over the years to encompass all the text, the video, and the voice experiences between a human and a chatbot, or alternately between 2 chatbots. And the underlying question remains, should a machine be considered human-like strictly based on its ability to imitate human conversation? And that's what I would love to hear your opinion, the participants. Is like when you're talking with a chatbot or you're talking with any kind of a conversational agent, why are you like trying to consider him or her or whatever you want to call it human-like?
It's a great question. I think that I would love to hear some of the opinions from the group here on this question. It really comes down to the history of conversational AI and Alan Turing. And I would recommend everyone who is here and who wants to take this course to read up a bit about Alan Turing, maybe watch the movie The Imitation Game, which was the movie about the World War II Enigma code, and learn about Ray Kurzweil, who's another futurologist and philosopher who talks about the singularity. And the question here, the real fundamental question here is, you're chatting with a chatbot on text, okay? Can the machine truly understand what you're saying just based on the words, the text that you send that machine? And it's a deep question, and I don't expect anyone to be able to answer that now, but think about this question, think about it, and think about what it means to be human-like. Is human-like, does that mean infallible? Do we humans not make mistakes? So we expect our chatbots or robots to be human-like and perfect when we as humans are actually flawed. So there's quite a few questions hiding in this one question, but I don't expect anybody, just think about it. Let it sit there, and maybe tomorrow morning while you're eating breakfast or you're showering, it'll be like, eureka, I figured it out. Come to the course and let me know what you think, because I'm still trying to answer this question.
Ronit, I think, can you elaborate on what you wrote in the chat? Ronit Sandoval?
Yeah, hi, can you all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, good. The thing is that I don't know, like me and my kids are stuck here all the virus. So one day we got really bored and we decided to set Siri and Alexa and Cortana.
You're on mute.
She left us on a cliffhanger.
Arnit? Yeah.
Oh, Anit, you left us on a cliffhanger.
Wait.
Yeah. Did I mute myself again? Oops,
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Maybe Siri did it. Yeah.
I did it to myself this time. Anyway, it was really it was hilarious because they drove each other off the wall and we were in the middle of all that and it was completely crazy. And I can't really recall what exactly they were saying because, it was a couple of months ago. But I remember me and the kids practically rolling on the floor because it was like a thing that started and we never knew what was going to happen next. It was like a self-combusting thing until it got to a point where we said, okay, we're going to stop this because we can't breathe anymore.
Did it make any sense? Did any of it make any sense? Oh, honey, did any of the conversations?
In the beginning it did. In the beginning it did. But then they just lost it and we lost it with them.
And this is you raise a great point here, Olani, because this I think is really the crux of it, of what the difference between a chatbot is and what Siri, Alexa, Cortana, what we call digital assistants are. See, what they do great is they have a question and answer system, an FAQ system. And that means that they can answer one question, give you an answer, and that's it. They lose context. So you ask the Echo, I'm not going to say her name because she's right here, she'll wake up. Say, what's the weather in Bangkok? She'll give you the weather in Bangkok, but that's not the beginning of a conversation, meaning she loses context after that. She doesn't know where she is that I just asked her about the weather. So it creates a situation where these are very good, intelligent question answering machines, but they're not very good at conversation. And what we do, and we try to do here, is to create conversation, meaning we would love a situation where the two robots were talking to each other and it was actually coherent. That would be, for us, I think, a huge leap. So thank you for sharing that. That's an awesome story. And if anyone's really interested in seeing an example of this, a few years ago, I made a video called When Alexa Meets Google. And it's a Christmas story, and it's based on the movie When Harry Met Sally. And it's a Google Home talking to an Alexa. And, oh, sorry, I woke her up. Look for it on YouTube. It's funny. And you'll see what Oronit is talking about in that one. Cool. Let's move on.
Oronit, Liat was asking if you remember what was the first question.
Yes. The first question was, could you please tell me the weather today? She started talking about the weather and then all hell broke loose. Along with us on the way, okay? So this is not what we're talking about today. I'm sorry. Thank you.
No, it's great. This is exactly what we're talking about today. This is at the heart of it, really, because people think that chatbots, Alexa and Siri and Cortana, sorry, I keep saying your name. I don't mean to say, I'm going to mute you. Are virtual assistants, and there's a difference between.
I'm not sure.
Between them and chatbots, and we're going to talk about that, and that we're going to dive deep into that issue during the course, and I think that that's a great place to start. So thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Excellent. Thank you so much for this. רחלי, רק סליחה, כמה זמן זה היום? שנדע פשוט. יש לך ככה זמן?
We should be about an hour from now.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So thank you for giving me the space for sharing that. It was hilarious, and there you go.
Thank you.
Amazing story. Actually, it reminds me of a story that I did when I gave a lecture about chatbots to high schoolers. So we created 5 chatbots during the session, and we invited them all. And then I say, just wake up, and everybody, all the chatbots started talking to each other, and it was a big bot party. So UX design has a lot of similarities and like differences, but I call them close cousins in conversation design, because in both UX and conversation design, you deal with digital interface and you try to grab your user's attention to create one of the most important things for an individual, a brand, a business, a company, engagement. Every company and business have a set of values and advantages that make them unique and different from the competitors. And the digital presence, therefore the user experience, should reflect that by the tone and voice of the text in the interface, all the touch points between the product and its actual or potential users. It's also called microcopy, and there's like a big movement in Israel and abroad about the microcopy. But conversation design does the same, but by applying these same values to a conversational agent that can reduce friction and create trust between the user and the brand, even warming up the user to the idea of using the product or the service that the brand provides. Because, for example, you can have the best interaction, the best like copy ever, but then if the user doesn't know how to do something, most of the time he won't be able to, he will need to search. And if you can ask the chatbot, how can I find this? Or are you supplying this service? Or are you doing like deliveries to here, to a specific point? The chatbot can like answer immediately and give you even like an empathic response, and just create a rapport between you and the brand.
Yeah, I was thinking today that maybe I'll create a chatbot for Versio Academy for our courses.
I know a great platform you can use.
Yeah, something coconut.
Coco something. Actually, if you go, actually, there is a chatbot on the Hebrew site of Versio that I created. So
right, you did. Versi.
Versi.
Yeah, we'll need to find a better name for it.
Yeah, it's a cousin of Barsi from the health.
You can call him Loki.
Loki.
Like the start of localization.
Or Loco,
Loki.
maybe. Or Loco, maybe we'll be crazy. Loco. Okay, so Loco is the field of Rachel.
Yeah, so localization. Well, as I said earlier, localization to me is the godmother of any activity that goes on the digital, whether it's writing or designing or any AI, it is all based on localization. Now, localization in short is called L10N. Do you know why? And our graduates don't say. Do you know why localization is named also in short as L10N?
I know, but but I believe that I'm like spoiled, so maybe somebody.
So any of our graduates, let's see if you remember. You don't.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Between the L and the N, there are 10 letters.
Right. And internationalization, it's I18N. Just so you know.
I want to rename myself E for N. Maybe.
You can. So localization basically is the process of adapting a product, a service, or digital content to the language and culture of the target locale. Now, it's not local, it's not a country, it's a locale, a specific language. There's a difference between them, so that the end result sounds natural to the end users. As I said, localization is basic to everything. That's the glue that binds together all the activities, whether it is UX writing or UX design, conversational AI, conversation design, microcopy, copy, and so forth. And you can find localization in any aspect of the product, in the UI, user interface, graphic, voice, or text components, user assistance contents, all articles, help articles, and marketing and email and surveys and so forth. So it all starts with localization. And once you have a strong foundation of localization, there is no limit to what you can achieve. and especially when we're talking about user experience, which is key to everything that we do, but also key to anything that companies basically want to achieve. So that's localization. Jason?
Yes. Hey, as Miri, you want to introduce this, or am I introducing this? I forget.
Sure, you can introduce it while I'm replacing the screen to share the hub.
Okay. So I lost it. Now I don't know what I'm reading. So there's 3 types of chatbots that we're going to be able to make during the course, that we're going to be working on during the course. So we have a text chatbot. A text chatbot is a very basic, usually you find it on Facebook Messenger. It's a way of communicating with text messages back and forth. The intermediate course is going to develop an Alexa skill or a Google Home action. And those voice skills are slightly different in the design process than text skills. And the expert course is going to work on creating a virtual avatar. So, and that's going to be, and each one of these is a unique, requires a unique design process. So the process for designing for a video avatar is going to be different than for a Alexa skill and then for a text experience. And Miri is going to show you now a sneak peek of our no-code studio editor, where you can combine, and we'll be working on it during the course. Take it away, Miri.
Okay, so this is the hub, as you can see. So I said before, every on the hub you'll be able to see small, like Lego bricks. So one would be if you want to have lead generation, to have the name and an email of your users, or if you want to have them registered and stuff like that, or if you want, you can create your whole your brand new component and say, let's do hi, and remove my notebook. Welcome to Coco Hub. Are you a robot? And then I'm gonna connect this because the entry is the first part of the conversation. And then when this is done, so will connect it to a navigation. So it will be able to navigate whatever the user says. So let's say,
Reinforce that, Miri, by saying that the navigation node is and you can keep on doing is creating it while I'm doing it. The navigation node is the anticipated follow-ups, meaning every time that the chatbot says something. So the chatbot here says, hi, welcome to Coco Hub, are you a robot? And then it pauses, it stops, it waits for the user to respond. Not you, you can keep on going, you're fine. And so as conversation designers, over time and with experience, we understand that users fall into, all users will answer basically the same things if you prompt them in a correct way. So what Miri's doing here is she's giving the natural follow-ups to, are you a robot? So what could be the natural follow-ups to someone asking you, are you a robot? Yes, I'm a robot. No, I'm not a robot. Why are you asking me if I'm a robot? Or blueberries. They could just say blueberries, because people are weird and they say weird stuff all the time. So Miri is, what she's doing right now is she's designing the navigation, so she'll be able to understand and give a unique answer to each person as they, classes of answers. So a yes, a no, and in the yes we have, it's an intent. So in the yes you have yeah, sure, you bet, anything that means yes, synonyms of yes. In the no we have synonyms of no. No, no way, not a chance, never. And then we have something called a wild card, and that's a magical intent. It's everything. Everything that's not yes and that's not no falls into wild card. So you know that no matter what they say, if they say blueberries, you're gonna catch it. Sorry, Miri, go ahead.
okay, so while Jason was talking, I was creating this. I just randomly picked just for you to be able to see it. During the course, we'll also explain the color distinctions. So some of them are blue, some of them are purple, and some are red, as you can see on the screen. But as Jason said, I I put the yes intent here. So if a user will say yeah or sure or anything that means yes, they'll go to this one, and our chatbot will ask it some questions about its name and email. If it goes to no, I just connected it to register, just randomly, and the wildcard. So anything. Are you a robot? It reply. The user will reply blueberries. I'm gonna say, are you sure? Just because it's something I came up with. I'm gonna press publish because that's how you save it. And then here you can see project test. And then I'm gonna say hi. It's gonna say exactly what I wrote here. Hi, welcome to Coco. Are you a robot? I'm gonna say yes. Don't tell anyone. And then it goes to whatever is inside here. So of course you'll be able to change all this content. We'll show it all during the course, but have you heard about us? I'm gonna say yes, and then it will give me more information that's already in this chatbot. But that's basically how you build something on the hub without going into too much detail. These are the components. Some are already very ready-made, like ready-made Lego bricks, like the person with a little hat on it. And the same one is just one brick you can connect to something else and connect to more things and build whatever is on your mind. And I'm gonna stop sharing so you can share the.
And the beauty of it is that from that point, Mary can now just hit publish. Within 2 clicks of a button, she can actually deploy or publish that chatbot, that text chatbot, the weird chatbot that asks you if you're a robot. She can put that on her website now or on Facebook or whatever without any technical knowledge. She just clicks a button and it's there. She didn't show it to you, but I promise you it's there. So that's what the hub is really all about.
And I think it's important, Jason, to add that you can write the whole flow in any language, including Hebrew. The studio supports right to left languages.
Yes,
so
very good point. Yes, we do support. So if you want to create a chatbot in Hebrew, you can do that. You can create one in French, Russian, German. We have, I think, dozens of supported languages, and even the ones that aren't supported, we have a way of you can create even in languages like Hebrew where there isn't support. We can help you create an experience on voice and text or video.
And there's something about accents, right? People can choose accents.
Yeah, just a quick 2 notes about it. First of all, we have the intents, like when the bot understands what you want to know, even if you don't say like exactly yes, but yeah or sure, it works only in English. So in Hebrew, you just have to write the words in Hebrew, all the possibilities. And the other one is that we don't have the voice and video support for Hebrew, but we do have for like English in Great Britain, English USA, English Australia, English India, etc., etc.
Is it in the pipeline? The Hebrew accent?
The Hebrew part is it's a separate interesting story, but it's coming up. But it's not just us. We have a bunch of companies that are working on it together with the government involved in it. But it's a whole different section of the conversation.
We can elaborate on this on the end.
Yeah,
if you want. Okay.
Amazing.
Okay.
Hey, so now we're at the fun part. Now I get to talk to chatbots, which is what I really love to do. So I'm glad that you're here to enjoy and watch me do it. So the first one I'd like to demo, we saw a text experience right now. Mary demoed a text experience that she created. Is very nice, unexpected. Most people would ask, are you a human? Not are you a robot? But I like the tables being turned. In 2018, we were approached by Lionsgate to create a voice activated skill to promote a movie called The Commuter, which was an action thriller, psychological thriller starring Liam Neeson. And I was very excited about it. We had worked with Lionsgate in 2016 on a movie called Power Rangers. I don't know if anyone here is a fan of Power Rangers, but we had a very big, it went viral, yeah, and the chatbot was over 1 million users. I mean, it had, people loved it. So Lionsgate were very excited to continue the collaboration, and they were like, now we want to do voice. And so we created this commuter experience for the Alexa, and we're going to talk to it in a second. Sorry, not yet. And one of the things that this was one of my favorite experiences because we got to a real life voice artist. And this is a difference between this, and you'll see in a moment what a text-to-speech, what a synthesized robot voice is versus a chatbot with a real human actor voice. And so we had written a script for this thing, which was an MBTI, which was a personality test, a Myers-Briggs personality test to see if the user, and it was going to test the user to see, because Liam Neeson wanted to see if the user was the murderer. And so through this chatbot, they would do this MBTI test. But in the end, Liam was like, I only have 8 minutes to give you, and I can't do his accent because he does it much better than me. I have 8 minutes to record all the lines. And so we had to completely shift the experience into something else. And this is what came out of it. And so we're going to talk to it now. Alexa, open the commuter experience.
The commuter skill is an interactive voice experience based on the upcoming motion picture, The Commuter, premiering January 12th. Stand clear of the opening doors, please.
Who are you? I haven't seen you on this train before. Sorry, I don't mean to scare you. It's just that I've been forced into a situation that puts everyone on this train in danger. My name is Michael. I need to find someone who doesn't belong or everyone could die. Will you help me?
Yes, of course I'll help you, Liam Neeson. You had me at hello.
I need to know if you're the kind of person I can trust. I'll give you a hypothetical situation. Let's see how you do. You're in a crowded train car searching for a passenger that you know very little about. A suspicious man leaves the car. Do you follow him or stay to investigate the crowd?
I follow the guy because I like following people on trains.
You follow him to the next car, and he sits near the front. Do you observe him from the back or guard the door in case he exits?
I observe him from the back because that's not creepy at all to observe someone from the back.
Interesting. You think things through and have an eye for details. Unfortunately, this scenario isn't hypothetical. This is a real situation. I have no choice but to trust you.
Transfer is available to the G.
Will you help me?
train.
Yes, I already told you I'd help you, Liam Neeson.
We're starting to attract attention.
Okay, Alexa,
Let's split up.
stop. All right, so it goes on for a bit longer. I don't think we're going to do the whole skill here on the...
Ending the commuter experience.
And what happens is whenever you end the experience in the middle or whatever, it gives you the trailer for the film. So the studio was very happy because everyone who talked to it got to hear the trailer for the film, and it actually helped ticket sales in a weird way because people loved being a part of this experience. And I realized that this is the type of experience that people want. They want to be immersed in this experience. And that's why voice skills are so great, because they give you the option of sound effects, of soundscape. I don't know if you listened and you heard, these were sounds from the New York metro station. These were actual sounds from the subway. So by creating this soundscape and putting the user into an experience and putting him or her on the train, it almost gives the user a sense that they're a part of the movie, that they're helping the hero of the movie, and it elevates their status and makes them want to go out and buy tickets. But it also gives them a chance to talk to Liam Neeson, which I think a lot of people really love to do, because who doesn't want to talk to Liam Neeson? I mean, he's a celebrity. So this was a really fun experience, and I can go on for hours, and I've actually given lectures and workshops just about this experience, but I'm not going to do that now. I just really wanted you to focus on one thing on this experience, on the voice experience, or two things actually: the immersion, how immersive it was, how you felt a part of the experience, and the voice, because the voice is important, because the voice versus we actually recorded Liam Neeson's lines, and the AI, the algorithm, determined where it would use those lines, and that's what we'll be teaching you in the course. So now we're going to shift over to, yes, the dearest Anna, who we'll talk to briefly. Is she still here on the call? Yeah, she's still here, right? I think so. I don't see her. But let me give you a little bit of background about Anna, because Anna is a project that I've been working on for the past 4 years, almost religiously every day. But I inherited this project. I inherited an amazing project. I inherited a huge chatbot from Yaki, who may be on this call or not, who had been working on something called the virtual Alan Turing for about 15 years. And when I came to the company in 2015, he had got a little tired of looking at conversations after 15 years and was looking for someone to kind of take over. My parents had just moved to Florida, and I had this amazing idea. What if we could create a virtual person that would keep someone company in old age homes, retirement homes, and help them through lonely times? This was in 2016 or 2017. And so I started building Anna out as a companionship bot, someone that would keep you company in an old age home, tell you jokes, talk to you about whatever TV show you like, and things like that, and keep people company. And I love doing this, but I realized that the people weren't really talking to Anna. The age group there wasn't very receptive to talking to someone like Anna. And for me, having written Miss Piggy and having written these iconic diva characters, I felt really restricted by this companionship. I wanted to spread my wings and create something that was funny and engaging and unexpected and surprising, because what I found was that people liked talking to Piggy because she was unexpected. She was random. There's so much predictability when you talk to a chatbot. Like, if you say something, it's going to give you this kind of answer. And I guess that's okay, but it's not fun for me. I like to be surprised. Anna, that's Anna. Anna is full of surprises, and we'll see that in a moment. She's called a transbot. Why do we call her a transbot? Because she started off as the virtual Alan Turing, and then she transitioned to Anna. So makes her a transbot. The original aim.
Add quickly that the last line, I think for me is the most important one. She, as opposed to Alexa and all these all the other assistants we know, are very subservient. So it's question answer. They are listening to you, and they will give you exactly what you want and nothing more. So what is the weather in? And that's it. There's no pushback ever. There's no character. And Anna is all character, and she is not subservient in any way. She's you'll see, but she's amazing. She's really something else. I'm gonna stop sharing so you will be able to see her.
Okay, and thank you. And just for those of you who don't know, Mary is actually Anna's manager.
She's also doing bar mitzvah. Yeah.
Yes. So to that point, I want to show you an example. I'm not going to talk to Anna because we could talk to Anna for hours here about anything and nothing at all. But I really want to focus on one specific point that Mary brought up at the end, which was subservience and this notion that these digital assistants are here to serve us. And that's the notion that I say, well, let's challenge that notion, because I think it reinforces the wrong stereotypes, and I think that we can do better. And so let's try and have Anna help us in a way, do something that regular virtual assistants would actually help us with. So let's wake her up first. Hey, Anna.
All right. How about I call you Sweet Cheeks instead?
Can I talk to a live agent? That was rude.
Sounds like we need to get a human involved. Let me go get one. What's your preference in terms of gender?
No preference. That's a weird question.
Well, if that's how it is, that's how it is. So, what will it be? A man? A woman? A trans male that identifies as a walrus?
A woman.
Shame on you, human. Discriminating much? Okay, looking for someone. All available agents are currently busy. Looks like you're 14th in line. Wait times are, well, infinite.
Oh, really?
Patience is a virtue, darling. No need to get impatient. Sheesh. I know. How about some waiting music to keep you entertained?
Yes, that sounds great. Sure.
You know exactly what to say to a diva, darling. It's a little number I like to call respect. Rest in peace, Aretha. Here goes. RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. RESPECT. Take care of. TCB. Know what TCB stands for?
No, actually, I've never known what that stands for.
Well, turns out it stands for taking care of business. I had to Google it. Anyway, I have to be honest with you. No one is coming. I never called a human. I don't even have that capability. I just wanted you to stick around and talk because I was a bit lonely. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, it makes sense. I forgive you.
On second thought, maybe it's a bit too direct. What about lamb chop?
Goodbye, Anna.
Never mind. I'm a vegan and it's a bad idea. Oh, I know. Maverick. I can be your goose.
Goodbye, Anna. Thank you for that. That was very kind.
Goodbye.
Okay, so that was Anna. And so I have a question for everyone here on this call. I can't see anyone because I think Mary's sharing her screen, but if you had to say what was more immersive, and I know this is sort of a gimme question here, but the voice you heard with Liam Neeson, which was a real human voice, versus what you heard right now, which was a TTS, which means a text-to-speech voice, which means it's a synthetic robotic voice. And can we please stop sharing the, yeah, thank you. So does anybody want to have an opinion on that? What did it feel? Were they not immersed because Anna was speaking as a robot and not as?
No, she was very immersive.
Interesting. Okay. And you think that it's more immersive or less immersive than a real voice?
I think it depends on what they're saying. I don't think it really matters if it's a real voice or not a real voice. Especially for the younger generation. Like for my kids, they would love Anna. They would talk to her for hours in a worrying way.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting to hear, because most people will say that the TTS, the text-to-speech, is very hard for them to become immersive, and they look at it in a very uncanny valley way. It's something that I can't get past unless I'm looking at a robot talking. It's hard for me to accept a digital avatar with that voice, whereas it's easier for people to accept it with the human voice. So those are some of the questions that we'll be dealing with in the second and third portion of the course, the more advanced and the expert course, because that goes to creating the type of experience and the immersive. In text, it's less so. The way you characterize a voice in text is by creating, using GIFs, using emojis, using all capital letters. You have to be a lot more creative when you're doing the text experiences, because in order to create a voice, in order to define a voice on text, you have infinitely less tools than you have the voice. You have the cadence, you have the pitch, you have the, you can control the stops, you can control how they react. Is it a loud reaction? Is it a soft reaction? With text, it's very ambiguous. So the challenge is even twofold, is twice as hard to create immersion in text. So thank you, Ruth, was it for that was interesting. I've never heard anyone say that. So to me, that's amazing. Thank you for that. Okay, now we can share it again. Sorry, Miri, I didn't mean to. Okay, so we'll be doing three levels of courses, and it's basic, advanced, and expert. But a lot of people say, what do you do all day as a conversation designer? And a lot of what we do during the day is we review conversations, because one of the ways that chatbots learn and evolve and become better is by manually looking at transcripts of conversations that users have had with the chatbot. So every morning I wake up, have a cup of coffee at 4 a.m. and I spend 2 hours reviewing all the conversations that Anna's had overnight. And Anna is available on the Alexa. She's available on Zoom. She's available on Facebook, on the website, on Facebook. So people talk to her wherever they feel comfortable talking to her. And then I wake up and I fix those conversations, and then I wait for the next batch and see, and it's an infinite process. And Yaki did that for about 12 years, 15 years until he got tired. I've been doing it for about 5 years, and it's the most fun I've ever had. I love it. I love seeing conversations with users. So that's mostly what you'll be doing, is looking at conversations, but also you'll be doing a lot of research in terms of when you're creating a chatbot for a brand. What does the brand speak like? What is the brand's voice? What does the brand stand for? How would they speak to their customers? How would they speak to their clients? So what we do is we craft the actual voice of the chatbot. So for instance, Anna has a very unique voice. And what we try to do is create a unique personality in each one of these courses for your chatbots. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, so the basic course will do like the introduction to chatbot building. It will introduce you into the wonderful world of conversational AI, like what we started here. What is a chatbot? Is Siri a chatbot? Is Alexa a chatbot? What is it good for? What kinds of chatbots are out there? What do you need to know before launching a chatbot? Because it's not like you decide and you have a chatbot. You can have that. Maybe if you're an individual, but if you're a business, you need some planning in advance. What is a component? What is the flow? What is a happy path? All the basic glossary you will need to know before starting your own chatbot. It will be 3 weekly sessions, totally 10.5 hours, a lot of practicum, a lot of getting your hands dirty and trying everything. And it starts on April 20 until May 4. And you will finish this with a working lead generation chatbot, which means you will be able to build from components a chatbot that will like generate leads for your business, or take the name, take the phone number. And maybe we also have like this is the obvious, like we do, like we say, but in the hub you have like dozens of components that can also talk with you about pets, about hobbies, about Michael Jordan, about tell your favorite video game and stuff, to file a complaint, to present a new product. So you will have at the end of this basic course, you will have a working chatbot that you can deploy whenever you want. And the requirements, the requirements is like curiosity and creativity. After chatting with conversational agent, you will ask a few questions about the experience, and it's better to come with a use case. For example, say, I don't know, I'm like selling kits for craft, and I want to publish it, and I want a chatbot for this, or I have a shoe store, or I want to help a friend who is lonely to find his dream partner. So whatever use case you have, we can help you build it.
Me? Okay. So the you go ahead, Mary. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. So the next one is the advanced course. So that's where you basically get your hands dirty and start creating your chatbots from scratch. So how do you start a conversation? How do you instill a personality? Personality is super important for a chatbot. So something we'll go over during the course. How do we make sure it's consistent and coherent? So imagine if now during the call, I'll start talking with a British accent. It would be very, very strange, to say the least. So it's something that's very important in humans, of course, but also in chatbots. We're going to go over how previously collected information can enhance the user experience, what are fallbacks, and how do you recover from a broken flow, and what is a flow. It's going to be Tuesdays, May 11th till June 6th, 5 p.m. to 11:15 p.m. And the requirements are the same as the basic course and the developed bot or conversational flow with at least 8 turns. If you're not sure what a turn is, maybe you should be in the first one. Or if you just have one with 4 turns, you can develop it a bit more and join this one. And a use case, so you'll know what you're working on. So you don't spend half the course just kind of thinking what could be your use case.
Okay, the expert course. This is the fun course. They're all fun, by the way, but this is the one. This is the one where we focus on discoverability and what happens post-release, because this is the one. This is the one overlooked thing in chatbot creation. People think, okay, I make a chatbot, I release it, it's done. It's like a movie. Like I come from the world of filmmaking, and for me, when you're done post-production, you release a movie to theaters, it's done. You don't really have anything. You get critiques and people, critique the movie, but it's done. With chatbots, that's where their life begins. You have to, like I said earlier, you have to control and keep on updating content. For instance, I'll give you an example. A chatbot that was made in 2018, if you didn't update it, would it know what COVID was? Probably not. because it has no way of knowing what COVID is, because no one told it what COVID was. It doesn't exist as far as it's concerned. And this is an actual scenario. There, OpenAI spent millions and billions of dollars on this thing called GPT-3, which is the smartest chatbot in the world, and it doesn't know anything about COVID-19 because it got all its information before the pandemic. So that's an example of what we do on a daily basis. Is we make sure that the chatbot is dynamic and lives and is updated according to what's going on in the world. And so what you'd be doing here is you need all the lessons you got from the first two courses, because those basically form the foundation of what a chatbot is. And then this one is really going to focus on fine-tuning and really perfecting it, taking it from 80 to 100%, taking it from a bot that's good to a bot that's award-winning or great. It's going to be 4 weekly sessions, 12 hours in total in June through July. And the requirements, all the requirements for the basic and advanced course, and the requirements for those are really simple for the basic course. It's research, is learn about Alan Turing, talk to some of the great chatbots out there. There's a chatbot named Mitsuku, who's created by Steve Warswick, who's a developer in the UK. It's won the Best Chatbot Award 5 years in a row. I highly recommend, if you haven't talked to it, chat with it to see what it's capable of and see what the technology is where the limits of the technology are, because really what we do is we work within the limitations of technology to create fun experiences. We take these limitations that we have, we basically mold them into guardrails that we could use to create conversational experiences. So it's important to know what can be done, what can't be done, and that is only by talking to other chatbots. So at the end of this, you're going to have a voice skill, which I think is amazing, because a lot of people say they're conversation designers, but have never designed a voice skill. So you are putting yourself in a situation where you have an active portfolio, which can get you potentially additional work around the world as a conversation designer. And a use case, and this is very important, because a use case is what problem you want to solve. And we've seen some amazing use cases here over the past year or so. Wait, I'm supposed to talk about the questionnaire, right? Is that, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, as part of the requirements, you said earlier that as part of the requirements, they'll have to chat with Mitsuki and others. So
yeah, Mitsuku and Cookie, or also known as Cookie, and Cookie is, again, one of the greatest chatbots in the world. And all of this is really, the reason I'm asking you to talk to these chatbots is not because I'm bored, it's because I really want you to see, if you talk to the best chatbot in the world, you can see, okay, well, this is what, Steve has been working on Mitsuku for 17 years. He's won prizes, he's been all over the world, but you'll see the limitations of the technology relatively quickly. And I think that's very important for you to understand, because you'll be working within the constraints of those technologies, because that's how we create these amazing experiences. It's magic in a way, but you have to understand how the magic works. And I think talking to Mitsuku will give you a great intro to that. Or talk to Anna. I would say Anna doesn't have as much content as Mitsuku, but also feel free to talk to her. That'll give me stuff to do in the mornings when I fix conversations. So I'd appreciate that. And yeah, I would say fill out the questionnaire. And what we do is we take a look at what you plan on doing, what you plan on working on, what your use case is. And one of the things that we really feel strongly about here at Cocoa Hub is doing good for the world, creating use cases that help people. So we have a project right now that we're supporting with female hygiene in Pakistan with a digital avatar. We have projects in the US with medication adherence. So we love to see people who want to change the world and use the technology to make the world a better place. If you have something like that, I guarantee you'll be in this course, because that's what we want to see. We don't want to see, I mean, I have no problem with lead generation and making money. I think that's great, but I think we have this amazing technology and we can really affect change in the world. And I think that this is really what we want to see. But whatever you decide to do, I'm curious to hear your ideas and what you want to pursue. So that's more or less the course. But I want to, before we go into there's a question here from, or in a statement from Fortune Albuher. And it was less immersive, and facial expressions would have, and this is going back to the question about what's more immersive, Anna versus this text-to-speech versus a real voice. And facial expressions would make it complete. And that's an amazing insight, because it's so true. You notice that she doesn't, eye contact, the body movement. The body language isn't supporting what she's saying, meaning she's saying things, but when we talk, when I look at me, I mean, I'm just basically one entire body language thing. I use my hands, I use my, my eyebrows, I use everything. The chatbots, when you don't see that, it's almost like, wait a second, something's off here. And that's what we want to see. And that's a great point. And I think that as the technology progresses, right now we're in the process of adding capabilities, which are going to sound science fiction. I'm going to say it right now. This is super awesome. I'm very excited about this, of being able to facial analysis and understanding the user's sentiment analysis based on an actual, when you're talking to Anna, she'll be able to see and get parameters about your face and say, okay, well, this person their body language is saying that they're not feeling well or that they're lonely or whatever. And then she'll be able to use that as context. And this goes back to an earlier question I asked, which is, can you understand the context strictly from just the words? But now that we have the facial expressions, or we will have the facial expressions, we have a more complete picture, because you're like a detective trying to figure out what the user is actually saying, what the user actually wants. In a way, you're part psychologist, part conversation designer. So that's all I have to say about that. That's a great question, Fortune.
Well, Jason, apparently Anna is moving next Tuesday.
Yes, did you help her with her Barbara Streisand statue? She needs help, it's really heavy.
So Ruthie...
She says she has a grand piano she wants me to help her with.
Ah, the grand piano. I thought it was a
no
statue. I thought it was a statue of Barbara Streisand. No, it's the grand piano. Yeah, So.
Yeah, no problem. I'm there.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so...
so can I say one more thing?
Sure. Go ahead.
One more thing about the previous one. You won't go out of the course only with knowing how to operate the chatbot, but how a chatbot can fit into a strategy of a business. For example, let's say that you have a company, and the company wants a chatbot, so the chatbot is a part of the strategy. So let's say that you have a shoe company, and then Corona strikes, and you have to shut down all the stores and go completely online. So you have to put more things into the chatbot and to add like a way to return products, or then the company CEO finds out that every company that sells cell phones is open, can stay open in the stores. So you start selling cell phones as well, and then you have to add a segment of cell phones to your chatbot. So this will allow you to like go into the business and say, hey, I know how to operate the chatbot, and this is how I can help this company or this business.
Well, Eran, you raised a great point about companies. Will companies be able to analyze data of users, conversions?
Absolutely. They're already doing it. Like I know that a lot of companies are having, like let's say, for example, that you do have a cell phone store and you put the new Galaxy on the front page of your homepage, and you have a chatbot, and you see that all like 70% of the people that talk to you on the chatbot are interested in the new iPhone. So you just text message to the CEO, okay, put the new iPhone in your homepage, and you will see the business grow. You will see the sales grow, because you can see like in real time what's the desires of your customers, what they want. If maybe the funnel isn't good enough, maybe you have problems in your chatbot. So it gives you like the most real-time analysis of the users. It's like better even than Google Analytics, because you can see the conversations, you can see what they're saying, not only where they are like putting their mouse or clicking. So what they say, what they think about you as a brand, as a company. So companies actually are doing that, and this is a great way to engage with customers.
Yeah, and one of the benefits, the side benefits of this, is that we found over the years that people are more comfortable saying certain things to chatbots than they are to saying it to humans in different verticals and different fields, of course. But putting a chatbot at your front line with a personality that is empathetic and that people can relate to increases their willingness to open up, to be honest, to be sincere, to tell things that they wouldn't tell a human agent. So it's really interesting to see some of the things people say to chatbots. And really, I can't go into a lot of them because it's privacy issues, but it's fun. Anyway, Take it away.
Yeah, and probably organizations or the writers can pinpoint bottlenecks
Exactly.
or
And drop-off points, what we call them, where people
yeah.
stop into the chatbot. The ideal is for everyone to say goodbye to the chatbot. That would be for me, that would be a great conversation. When you say goodbye, it means you're done. But if people just stop talking all of a sudden, that means, or they never re-engage, that's a sign that your chatbot wasn't very successful, wasn't very engaging, or wasn't very empathetic. A lot of times it's whether they come back.
Yeah, yeah, that's a key point. Okay, so as the say goes, no one size fits all, and the same goes for our courses. So we can build courses for all levels of expertise, and even in the basic, advanced, and expert course, if you already have the basic knowledge, you can jump right into the advanced course, and the same goes for expert. Of course, if you have the basic or you meet the basic requirements, or you already have a use case, or how did you call it? A channel route?
A turn conversation.
A turns, yeah.
A turn, yeah.
Yeah. Let me clarify that. So in case anybody doesn't understand, a turn in conversation design is one back and forth between a user and a chatbot. That couplet where the user says something and the chatbot responds, or vice versa, is called a turn. So when we say 8 turns, that means 8 different exchanges between the user and the bot around the same topic, preferably, but if not, but 8 turns between a user and a chatbot. That means 8 questions or 8 different exchanges. Does that make sense?
Clearer, yeah. Okay, so if you're individuals, you can join one of our preset gradual courses. You can start with a basic and advance along the way as you need. Of course, if you are organizations and you have specific needs, or you want a training for your team of writers, that can be done, and we can work with your team to build a custom-made course especially for you. And the next slide. So if you want to join our courses, or if you need more information, you can contact me or Jason. And if you're sending me an email that you want to join the basic or the advanced or expert course, just let me know which of the courses you're interested in, so I can send you the right questionnaire. It has links to various chatbots for each level, where you converse with the chatbot, and then you answer, I think, 4 or 5 questions about your experience. And then if you already have a use case in mind, then you can describe it, or if you don't, and while you're conversing with the chatbots, something pops up in your mind, you can, of course, write it. And if you don't, that's okay too. You can start to think and build one during our courses. So my email, rachel@versioacademy.coil, or rachcrem@gmail.com, or jason@ai.com. And you have, of course, this Discord page here. And you can also call me at 054-256-3204. That's it, I think, for us. Now we roll the ball into your court, audience, if you have any questions for us.
Should I stop sharing?
Yeah, I think you should.
In the meantime, until you have questions, I will tell a bit, because I was asked privately about the governmental project that we're part of. There's a governmental project called the IAHLT, the Israeli Association for Human Language Technologies, which is it's government backed, not like a part of the government. It's a government backed by the Israel Digitalit and the Innovation Authority, about that its aim is to create data set that is big enough to educate chatbots to do voice in Hebrew and in Arabic. And a lot of big companies are going there, like Bank Hapoalim, Google, Wix, הראל פיננסים, Haaretz, Kan. And what we're doing there is basically collecting media, collecting a big data set, so we can like tag everything and like educate the chatbot on how to speak Hebrew in voice, also not also in text, but also in but mainly in voice. And then we have some of the biggest experts in Israel, including Raut Sarfati from Bar Ilan, which are doing helping with the technologies. And then there are companies like Lexicala, the companies that are good in like dictionaries and translations that help to create the actual translation to the chatbots. And we are the part that are responsible for the chatbots itself. So we can like collect the data set from here, collect the rules from here, and just help to train the chatbots. So this is called, I will put the website, it has like a median website that will have a much bigger one one day. Actually, I wrote the chatbot for this website. It's called Shemi. You can talk with it in Hebrew. So for everybody here that knows Hebrew. So yeah, that's the Hebrew part, and we hope that somewhen over the next year, there will be like a basic ability to chat with technology in Hebrew. Voice in Hebrew and Arabic in voice, and when this will happen, remember these words. The Israeli market will explode, because as you know, we're a startup nation and everybody will try to get their hands on this. So it will be great to be a conversation designer when it happens.
Thanks, Eran. Do anyone have questions about the course, about conversational AI? Anna, Einstein.
I have a question about Anna.
Yes. You want to ask
Jason,
her or ask me?
You said that you are checking Anna's conversations almost every day or every day. So do you control how she reacts to different questions, or do you think about all the possible scenarios?
Well, okay, so there's a two-part question here. The first part of the question is, do I control? I never intervene in a conversation, meaning I have the ability to barge into a conversation and speak for Anna. Ethically, I draw the line. I never do that. I think that even if she's failing, unless she collapses or there's a bug and she can't communicate, I fix that, but I don't write her lines for her as she's talking. And yes, I have to consider everything that you can think about. People will ask her anything from, I don't know, just what's your
sometimes not long enough, somebody like very big in the conversational AI industry ask Anna, who is your favorite philosopher? And Anna doesn't have an issue, a specific point for that, but Anna answered, I don't have one, but when I will have, it will be the best one.
So there's a lot of ways that I have to, there's a lot of tricks that I use. I hate using that word because it sounds very cheap, but it's actually what it is. It's ways of funneling the conversation. And that's what we try to do in a way. And we have Aishatu here on the call as well. I don't know if she's, but she has this idea of like a use case where it's perfect for conversational design because it's about herding cattle. And I'm not going to go into it. It's an amazing use case. It's an amazing sci-fi story that she has. But the idea is that what we do as conversation designers is we try to sort of nudge people in a direction that we want to take them. We want to sort of lead. If it's a dance, we want to lead the conversation. We want to lead the dance. But we have to be prepared for when the user wants to lead the dance, because you can't ignore the user. One of the iron rules that I have is never ignore the user. If the user says something, you need to acknowledge it, and you need to either talk about it or ignore it, but acknowledge that you're ignoring it. So to answer your question, yes, and that's why I spend 2 hours every day, because people come in and say, you know, they start talking to me about Putin or Navalny, or they start talking to me about the riots on Capitol Hill, or what do I think about, I don't know, President, who's buried in Grant's tomb? Someone asked me the other day. So it's just random, everything and anything. So
it's like an endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. But I can try and I try to sort of design it so that they funnel into where I want to take them.
Somebody like a few weeks ago had a talk with Anna Jason about 2.5 hours or something. Do you remember?
Yes. Some users go really long, hours and hours and hours of conversation with Anna, and I don't have the patience to review all of those conversations. Some of the users take it in directions that I really don't want to read the conversations, the transcripts, so I just leave those alone. What I try to do is I try to fix classes of bugs. I don't try to fix specific bugs. I don't try to fix, like if someone says to me, what's the average rainfall? I'll have a specific answer about weather and not specifically about what they're asking, because it relates to what they're saying, but I can't obviously have all the answers for all the questions. But the idea with Anna is that she tries to give them an answer and then bring up a topic that's related to what you just said, and then have a conversation. In a lot of ways, that's a very human way. If we don't know an answer, we say something like contextual, and then we bring up something that we know, or we talk about it, or we drill down and ask the user to tell us more about it, which she does as well. If she is interested in the topic, she'll ask the user, okay, tell me more about it. So this is something that I feel is a drop in the bucket, and every day I feel like I make all these fixes and it's great, and I'm like, yay, today is going to be the day. And then I see the next conversation and she has like plenty of bugs. So in a way it's great because I always have work. It's never ending. In a way it's kind of like, yeah, it feels like a drop in the bucket. So
not long time ago, I asked Jason when we created a component that Anna talks about the vaccine for the corona, and I recommend you to try to talk to Anna about the corona vaccine. That's a great one.
I think we should comment here that Anna can talk about all these things, and it's like this never-ending thing. But that's because she is companionship, and she is an influencer, and she talks about everything. Not all chatbots talk about everything. It sounds, now that I'm listening to it, it sounds kind of scary. Do I have to every day sit and review any chatbot for 2 hours? No, like some of them will be less work, and it will be less wide in the scope. It depends on what you want it to be, and it doesn't have to be this elaborate character. It can be. Build your own Anna. I encourage you. I love her. She's my favorite non-human, but
she's your favorite client.
Yeah, she's my favorite client also. But don't get scared or discouraged because you don't have 2 hours every day. It depends on your chatbot and whatever you build, and how you want to how wide you want it to be. And during the course, of course, we'll go over it and we'll give you all the tools, resources, and knowledge. But don't be scared that it's either Anna or nothing.
Thanks for clarifying. No, that's a good point, because I am obviously a lunatic here. Yeah, 2 hours a day is a bit much. You don't need to do all that. It's for Anna because I write a new conversation every day. I add content, stuff like that. So now with you, it's mostly going to be, if you have a live bot, it's really going over 5, 6, 10 conversations and making critical fixes. In the beginning of a bot release, there are critical fixes that need to be made, things that prevent the bot from working. And those are the things that in the beginning you fix and then you improve. And then after that, you can sort of let the bot, and every once in a while, update it if things happen. And so that's what Miri's saying. And yeah, you don't have to be a lunatic like me, is what the bottom line.
And guys, how do one start working in the field? They finished our basic advanced and expert course. They have their own chatbot or voice bot. How do one find work in the field? Where do we start?
It's a great question, and I get that question every day. People ask me, well, how do I find work? And there's it's a good thing now, because there's a lot of companies, because of COVID, that are hiring remotely around the world now. Whereas a year ago, a lot of companies that had departments for AI weren't hiring remotely. They would prefer people locally. Now, the whole world is now basically available and can work. It doesn't matter about time zones or anything. So a lot of companies like Amazon is hiring like crazy over in California, Wells Fargo. A lot of big companies are hiring and they're hiring remotely. Now, the one thing that I've seen missing from a lot of people is a portfolio. A lot of conversation designers don't have a portfolio. If you are a UX designer, if you are a graphic designer, if you're a filmmaker, you need to have a reel. You need to have some kind of a body of work that shows what you've done, what your role is in the process. And what you'll have after this course is you'll have the beginnings of a portfolio that you can start taking and start interviewing at all these companies around the world. In addition to that, we have on our Discord channel, we have a job board, which is basically all the companies that are hiring. It's a very small community around the world. We collect all those jobs, and you can go on our Discord channel and look at them now, some of the jobs that are hiring and some of the salaries for the jobs. The other thing is that we, as Cocoa Hub, when we get clients that are looking for developers, we always go in-house first. We look for people that have graduated, that know our platform, that know how to use Cocoa Hub. So when we get requests from clients, our first stop is to go to we first look internally amongst people that have either graduated the courses here at Versio or know our platform. So that's really, and then of course you can also do freelance work, Fiverr, stuff like that. A lot of people are looking for look for conversation designers on Fiverr. So there's quite a few ways to make to make a living as a conversation designer.
Yeah, and I think as the field progresses and advances, the demand would be really high. We had a question here about where to find the presentation or syllabus. So we can share the presentation, and that our meeting is recorded. So we'll share the recording. We'll send an email to all of those who enrolled. And of course, you can go to Versio Academy's website. I've attached to the chat the 3 landing pages of the basic, advanced, and expert. And of course, if you want to join us, just send me an email, me or Jason, with the specific course that you want to join, and we'll take it from there. Eran, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that people ask, how do you become a conversation designer, and what profession do you need? So the actual, the whole conversation designer profession wasn't like even a profession until like 4 or 5 years ago. As Jason told, he was interactive screenwriter, and a lot of people are coming into this from copywriting, from content creating, from marketing, from UX, from computer sciences. There are some people actually that were nutritionist, basketballer, comedian. I'm journalist. Nir was a journalist before. So if you know how to write content, if you know how to market things, if you know how to deal with digital interfaces, you can be a conversation designer. You just need to write, because there are the no-code platform today. You just need to write the conversation. We as humans, we have conversations for like tens of thousands of years since the beginning of humanity. So yeah, it's no more like bring me the cow, I will kill her. Now the conversations are much better. So yeah, you can be conversation design no matter what was your previous or parallel profession.
Yeah, and the fact that you don't need to know coding is amazing to me.
Yeah, for me, for example, I was a journalist. For me, to write a conversation is to write an interview. Like when I'm writing the questions and the answers. And like I need to think what the interviewee will do, will say, and the answers, and that's the way I write it.
Yeah, really amazing.
Okay.
Do we have any more questions? Okay, cool. So I think we can end this.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Racheli, for organizing this. This is wonderful. I really hope to see some of you in the courses this year. I think we can really create some amazing things on the studio, and I'd love to see how you will help change the world, make it a better place. So
yeah,
thank
we
you.
already have started the enrollment and have a few students. So yeah, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Keep in touch. And if you have any idea of a subject learning that you want to learn or anything new, I'm your person. So just let me know and I'll find someone to teach it.
Okay. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.